of security services. It shows authentication, confidentiality, non-repetition, integrity, availability are network services. Now, security mechanisms are encipherment, data integrity, digital signature, authentication exchange, traffic padding. Some of the topics we have discussed previously. Now, in this, we can understand some principles of network security, confidentiality, and some points we have to consider in this network security principles are confidentiality, authentication, integrity, non-repetition, access control, and availability. Liberate each points and understand with the help of an examples. The first is the principle of confidentiality. The principle confidentiality specifies that only the sender and the intended recipient should be able to access the content of a message, where confidentiality gets compromises if an unauthorized person is able to access a message. Interception, attack, cause loss of confidentiality. So we have to majorly focus on confidentiality of data. We have to secure it. With the help of diagrams, two users, Alice and Bob, have to conversation while invalid user Tom intercepts their conversations. This causes loss of confidentiality since Bob and Alice don't want to read their message by any third person. So we have to follow some certain rules for confidentiality. Now next point is the principle of authentication. Authentication mechanism helps establish proof of identities. The authentication process ensures the origin of an electronic message or document is correctly identified. For example, Alice and Bob want to have a conversation, but third user Tom disguises himself as Alice and talk to Bob. Due to lack of authentications, Bob has no idea that he is talking to Tom. In this case, principle of authentication is defeated. Now we have our next topic is principle of integrity. Then the content of message are changed after the sender sends it, but before it reaches the intended recipient, we say that the integrity of message is lost. In this case, there is a modification causes loss of integrity. Let's see with the help of example where Alice wants to transfer $100 to Tom, but Tom alters the transactions and transfer instead of $100 $200. Now in non-repetitions, there are situations where a user sends a message and later no returns that she had sent that message. The principle of non-repetitions defeats such possibilities of defining something having done it. It does not allow the sender of all message to refuse the claim of not sending that message. For example, Alice could send phone transfer request to bank over the internet. After bank transfers the funds as per Alice's instructions, she could claim she never says the fund transfer to the bank. The Alice defines the fund transfers. Now the next topic we have to discuss is access control. It determines who would be able to access and what. An access control mechanism can be set up to ensure this. Access control is broadly related to role management and rule management. Role management can controls on the user side, rule management focused on resources side. For examples, two users, Alice and Tom, where Alice is admin and Tom is normal users. So admin has permission to access database and Tom should not be able to access the database. Now the next principle of security are availability. The principle of availability states that resources should be able to authorized parties at all time. Interceptions put the availability of resources in danger. For example, unauthorized action done by user Tom and authorized user Alice may not be contact the banks.